God.
It's a lot of stretching.
Oh my God. What the freak was that?
You should really just leave your stream deck like on the other table.
Welcome to the Off the Grid podcast. I am your host, Doc O'Bell. With me, the other host, Left for Junkie. That's a huge bug. And we have a special guest, Danny,
Peace.
with us today. And as always, before we start the podcast, this podcast is brought to you by Parsec. It is a proprietary freeware desktop. I haven't used that word a lot. I keep looking to my left because there's this huge bug. Anyways, capturing application primarily used for playing games through video streaming. Using Parsec, a user can stream video game footage through an internet connection, allowing one to run a game on one computer but play it remotely through another device. Although this main focus is gaming, Parsec can also be used as a low-latency desktop sharing software. The Parsec client is available on most modern operating systems. If you want to play with your friends that's like across the country, across the state from you, you can use Parsec. I'm jumbling my words. Grab Parsec. Download now. It's free. Also, not prepared. Rogue Energy. If you guys want, is interested in buying Rogue Energy, you can use the discount code OTGENERGY to get 10% off. It's Rogue Energy. For everyone watching the stream, it is in the About page, so just check that out.
I just want to say, you always forget Rogue Energy's name. Like, you did it when you're doing the
There's
shirt.
There's so many.
You're like, what?
There's so many energy drinks that I just mix them up. But Rogue Energy, I have bought one. Used our 10% discount code, which is dope. Also, not part of the whole script thing, but we have merch. Designed by humans. So merch. that's what the shop's called.
Really?
Yes, it's
Didn't know that.
called Designed by Humans.
I like it.
Yeah. We've had the issues with the shirt as of recent, but it's getting situated. So
We had a little problem setting up the stream earlier.
yeah,
So,
if you notice,
The tiniest possible problem.
I'm really close to the guest.
Still
not
really
because
close
of-
to it.
Not as close as I'd like.
I
Over time, he'll drift closer.
was supposed to be over here where that other mic's at, but since the Streamlabs does not like the third mic, I am now over here to share the second mic.
That is so. So, anyways, to start a podcast off, Danny, why don't you tell us about yourself? Also, if you need to adjust the mic to where it's a little closer to you, feel free.
Well, how to introduce myself? I'm basically just a random friend that was invited to come and chat about things. Anime is something that's a big hobby of mine to watch and to enjoy, and to occasionally, in front of friends, critique and review different anime. So,
Which actually we are about to talk about.
exactly.
Some animes that we have all watched. One being is My Hero, obviously. Such a great anime.
Boku no Hero.
Boku no Hero. I actually, whenever we first moved in here into our apartment, I was trying to convince. See, I on stream, by the way, I call him Junkie. I never really call this man by his real name. It's just weird to me. Whenever I even whenever I'm talking to his mom, I refer to him as Junkie.
Junkie.
Yes. That's our little code name.
Okay.
So before we dip into the whole anime talks, I want to tell you a little backstory about how this friendship came to be together. There's another one of us, but he's at work right now, which is why like our schedules just doesn't meet together. Anyways, so Left for Junkie, as you can see by the posters way back. I don't know if you've played any of these games called Left 4 Dead.
Oh.
Have you played Left 4 Dead?
No, I did not.
All right, so Left 4 Dead basically is a zombie shooter. That's Legend of
Yeah, I'm
Zelda.
like, oh, that looks like Zelda.
But
yeah, that's also in it, you know.
But we have been doing YouTube and Twitch stuff, or I have at least. Like actually, we both have since earlier 2000s.
Yeah.
I started my little YouTube adventure at around 2009. I've had multiple channels,
Channels,
which we will not talk about ever. But actually met one of our guys. His name is Ortiz. He's actually the one that actually like brought us all together. Because at first I was just looking for people to collaborate with. It's basically how I was doing it. So like I first moved to Jacksonville, to America really, 2015, early 2015. So I started like YouTube stuff because I didn't have really any friends. Like I wasn't in college yet. I honestly like for a whole year I didn't do anything. I was just living through off of my savings, and eventually I moved with my parents because I have decided that I cannot live by myself yet because I don't have like work and all that. So I was doing YouTube stuff and all those streams and all that, and I met this guy. His name is Ortiz. So he introduced me to Reese, which is actually one of our members here. And playing with Reese, I believe Junkie here was his viewer at one point.
Yeah. Okay. So like, I was also looking for the same thing as far as like collaborating with people. Because in my area, no one had like similar interests to me. All I was into was like hunting, fish. They was your typical rednecks. That's all my area was. Like literally, like nobody had my same interest. It seemed like so. When I was doing YouTube, I did it by myself for a good while, and then I was like, you know what? I could branch out a little bit, maybe try to meet some new people. So I found Reese because I was looking up like a Resident Evil 2 video, and I looked at the most recent, and so Reese popped up, and I just clicked on this man's video, and I enjoyed it. So then I saw they streamed on Twitch, and I'm like, I stream on Twitch, so you know what? I'm gonna go on this man's stream. So I do. And I'm like, hey man, if you ever feel interested in like playing something sometime, just let me know. And he said, all right, sounds good. And so then it come to this day where he invited me to play Left 4 Dead. And I'm like, okay. And so I join, and then there's this man, Doc, and Ortiz, and that's how it started.
It's pretty brief, but I have met him around early or late 2015. So it's been quite a bit of an adventure. I forget where I was going with this. Oh yeah, I was just like telling him about how like all this started.
Yeah.
And then some year, it's like around like the end of 2020, we were talking, and I believe I told you that I was gonna move somewhere to like Kentucky or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I think we had talked about that.
Yeah. Pretty sure I told everyone there. I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm leaving this place.
Yeah, bye suckers.
But change of plans because I found out that it was hard to move to another state without a job, looking for a job, looking for an apartment, trying to prove your income and all that. So I thought to myself, what if we just I had to like save money and all of that so I can save enough money to where I can like live for a year without working. I feel like that's a safe like margin, and then, like throughout that year I'll just look for a job.
Which for me, see, it didn't matter to me where we went because I was still leaving my hometown anyway. So I told this man, I was like, if you want to stay in Jacksonville, that's fine, just let me know. But if you want to go to Kentucky, that's fine. Because for me, I had enough I saved for whatever worst case scenario, like I don't find a job for a good bit. I saved enough to pay rent for months down the line.
Right.
So like I was good to go. So I was just, and for this man, or it just found it to be more beneficial to come down here. So that's how I end up coming down here, and that's how this apartment happened.
I'd like to ask about when you said that, well, of course, where you're from, the only things people are interested in are hunting, fishing, and lifting their pickup trucks,
Yeah,
basically. Right?
yeah, really, it's your stereotypical redneck city, man.
Not enough lift. Need more lift.
Yes.
So people weren't interested in the same things you were. Can you tell me what some of those things were? Obviously, one of them is, I assume, anime.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of
video gaming probably.
I kind of consider myself like I'm very versatile with a lot of stuff. Like as far as like I enjoy a lot of different things,
Right.
but most of my hobbies include just like a lot of video games, video editing, YouTube, Twitch.
Right.
I back then I used to be into like announcing and like which I still am, but like radio stuff.
Right.
I was very interested in a lot of broadcasting and reporting and stuff like that. And no one there, like I never related with anyone in my hometown. It seemed like because they all had like, it just wasn't my people. It was like all they focused on, people my age there anyway. All they focused on was going to get drunk, going to mess around, going to go mudding. I never did that in my life. That never seemed appealing to me at all. But so like I was just outcast.
go
Literally, I was just
mudding.
an outcast there. Like no one. I mean, like I could carry a conversation with anyone. I can, but I don't want to hang around those people if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Because they're just a lot of them just aren't. I didn't feel like was like good, really good people because a lot of them. I hanged out with this group. I tried it out one time, and we went to a restaurant, and the way they just like had this piggish behavior towards females bothered me to a very high extent. And after that day, I was like,
Probably pretty
I'm not.
cringy.
Yeah, I even apologized to the waitress, and I was like, I'm just sorry for their behavior, and just know that.
I also know that they're dumbasses.
Yes, yeah. I mean, so and after that day, it made me just like not hang around them anymore. It was just,
Right.
that was just the end of that. It was really just weird how because people when I was in middle school, I would get along with them, but they wasn't in them hobbies yet of doing the whole mud and stuff because they didn't have their cars and stuff. But when they got their vehicles, man, that was just the end of it. It was just
Right.
it was
They
just
started
over.
emulating.
The
They
more
basically just became the
their parents
and
of
the
people that
older-
never grew up.
Yeah.
And that's my area. A lot of it is just that's what my area is. And I'm sure there's people there that probably did have my same interests. I just didn't find them. But I'm sure not every single one of them did it, but it was just the majority of it was, and I just didn't like it there. I really became really miserable being there. Like it really took a toll on me, and I had a relationship, and during that time I was happy, but it's because I had. But I mean, heck, even her, she was an hour away from my city, pretty much. So like,
Wow.
I couldn't date someone there really. So, but I was content because I had that person though. But after that fell, I got back in that hole of where I just hated that place. And so, we actually talked about moving when I was like about to turn 18. I was 17. And I was talking to, like, even then I was already super miserable about
Wait,
it.
how old are you now?
20.
Okay.
So, just say, like, this
Fair enough.
this right here has been a big, like, talk for a good old while. And it finally happened. And I was really happy with it. And I've been really happy with the move. I've enjoyed the area a lot more for myself than I did in my hometown. So,
Your hometown being.
Fort Payne.
Got it.
It's the home of the band Alabama. That's their hometown. They still live there. They're known as gods there, it seems like, because every time one of them walked in, when I worked Cracker Barrel, every time one of them walked in, all the coworkers would act like it's just Jesus coming back round two over here, and I'm just like, bro, and not all of them, but some of them they're not good people. I mean, like you can easily tell they're not good people, but it's just amazes me because they're famed. People just act like they're god status when they're rude and you know.
The moment we pop off, you better not show your face back there because they will know you and they will memorize. they'll know
I
who
mean,
you are.
That's
that
okay.
guy was talking the shit about us.
I mean, that's okay.
How dare you?
That's okay. The only time I go back is just to visit family and not really go into the city.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
So how about you, Danny? Are you were you born here
I was born in Miami, actually.
in Miami?
Yeah, I moved around a lot. My dad was in the Navy when I was much younger. He basically joined the Navy when I was born. And so we moved around quite a bit. I don't know if you remember, but you definitely wouldn't know. I'm the oldest of 7 children total. So, like, we would move around, and then a couple more siblings would happen.
I didn't know there were 7 of you.
Well, one of us, I had a sister that passed away several years ago, but I still count her. So,
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course. I mean,
so we would move around, and so I was born in Miami. Then, as my dad joined the Navy, we ended up moving to Texas for a little while, to Corpus Christi, and then we moved back to Miami, and then Jacksonville, where a couple more siblings were born, and then Miami again, where another one was born, and then to near Chicago, where a couple more siblings were born, and then my parents decided to give up the children having habits,
yeah.
and we capped it off at 7. So, but yeah, I moved around quite a bit, and eventually we ended up in Miami again, and then back here when I was in high school. And I was my sophomore year of high school, and the reasons that we moved here are unimportant, I suppose, for now, but I just been here ever since. I ended up going to college here, and to a college that no longer exists. My degree is one of the most useless things in the history of mankind. It is a theology degree.
Theology.
Theology. Well, I thought I was very hyper religious at the time because I was in a part of a somewhat cultish version of Christianity. Yes. So
what did we have a name for it? Because I might know.
IFB, Independent Fundamental Baptist Church.
Never
Churches,
mind. I don't know that one.
The IFB movement, you might say, and not every IFB church is like a cult necessarily, but the church I was a part of was definitely had tendencies or certain aspects of a cult that were very harmful to a lot of people, unless you fit like perfectly into the sort of cookie cutter mold and like sort of the plan. Like if you fit into this, like, man, you could really find hope, meaning, and purpose in this community. I did not really fit into that.
I can actually relate with that, so I get that. In my hometown, there's a lot of churches there, and I used to go to church a lot, and it depends. Like there's some of them I went to, and I just I found one where like, I mean, they do believe, but like they're not like, you don't have to be that cookie, you don't have to be their mold, and they just like won't, like, I guess, look down on you. Like I always hated that about like churches because they're trying to like spread this message or whatever. But the part is like at the end of the day, we're all humans, and there's a lot of aspects I feel like holiness churches, in my area, I guess it goes up for, I don't know if it goes for all through the states. I just know in my area, the women there could not wear like pants, and that to me was just really weird. It was like deemed as unholy, and I'm sitting there, I'm like if you're telling me clothing, this is and you would see a lot of these girls like at work, like in food industries and places. A lot of them were like that, and I'm just sitting there like, and they were terrified to do anything, and I'm like, what kind of church are you going to?
That is literally the kind of church I went to.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
if you were a woman and you wore pants or shorts, you like
see,
you You have committed a truly terrible sin,
That's why.
and you should repent.
That's why I said I might know what you're talking about.
Yes,
In the world.
there are aspects of the radical sides of Christianity that they might have some severe disagreements in doctrine and be like, they are not the holiness people or whatever, and the IFB people, and then the Seventh Day Adventists and the Jehovah's Witnesses are all they all claim Christianity, of course, right?
Yeah.
But if you ask them, they'll be like, we have major big differences in opinion about, or in teachings about specific doctrines that are really important, right?
Oh yeah.
But then when you look at how they act, how they behave, very similar in the way they control, in the way they think you should be controlled, in the way that you should follow authority regardless of what the authority does or says, essentially, which unfortunately leads to a lot of abuse. And when you are in a situation where authority is looked at as unquestionable, then you'll have situations where abuse happens, including sexual abuse.
Oh,
and,
yes.
and really, truly terrible things. I found out that happened to people I knew, friends of mine. Things that were done by people that I used to look up to, which over time sort of rid me of the rose-colored glasses I was wearing.
Yeah.
About that particular group.
See, to me, I got to like a point like, well, see, like I've seen a lot of the same things you said, and so to me, I kind of disconnected myself from that. I still like, it's kind of like have my, I guess, what you'd say your own studies. I just do that. I don't really do the whole church, because a lot of it, it's like they are so confined in their authority figures and stuff in their own way, in their own church groups. It's like they are the only ones that believe they'll go to heaven, and not like people that go to other, like there was literally a church there that was like, we're the only ones that are in the right, everyone else is going to hell. I'm like, what are you talking about? What kind of
this is
like
I'm having flashbacks now from like specific sermons where it's like basically everybody but us is misled.
Yeah, and I'm like,
except for the few scattered churches throughout the U.S. that basically agree like 99.9% with us.
yeah, and I'm like, you're naive as all get out thinking. I mean, that's crazy. That's like crazy thinking as far as that goes. Like, I'm just like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, when you're younger, you don't realize that. I mean, like when you're growing up and you don't realize that. I mean, there's a certain point where you do.
Yeah, well, I was bought in. I was bought in completely. Now, just to be clear, I'm an atheist. Like I no longer believe in any of that. However, like at the time, I was completely bought in. I was trying to fit into that cookie cutter mold we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I went to, like I said, this college was basically a seminary, or what they called a Bible college. And I was going. My degree is in pastoral theology, and which is basically, I know a lot about what other people have said about God. Essentially, I mean that's what theology is. It's studying what other people have said, studying other people's opinions about God. Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I did the whole apologetics thing at one point. So
Okay.
So I can relate with some of that.
Yeah.
This is really weird. I did not think this would be a conversation.
Yeah. I didn't expect to bring this up.
I did not either.
But when we're talking about
This was like like when a truck has this like really tall load, so like y'all were talking about one thing and then it took a little turn, so like the entire packages in the truck just went tilting down. Okay, now we're talking about church stuff. Cool.
See, like the good thing about this setting is like, see, I don't really like. I know Danny a little bit, but when we're at work, we don't really get to like talk. So it's really good to know how much we can relate about things now.
I'm not even sure how much I've told Carl about this, and I've known Carl for a couple of years.
No.
Yeah.
So
We as DPs, we don't really like. The only time we actually got to hang out.
Designated players. Get your minds out of the gutter.
DPs. What is another term for DP?
Nothing, Carl. Nothing at all. Do not mention in the comments, people.
Should I Google it?
No, you should definitely not
Just
do
pop
that.
it up on the big screen.
You should definitely not Google that right now. I'll tell you later.
Okay. So, anyways, whenever we were working together, we don't really get to like.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, anyways, what I'm trying to say is that like, as coworkers,
Right.
we don't have really like it's not the type of job where we can all like just hang out in the break room or something, because it's just whenever we're assigned tables, that's basically where we're at, and the
Yeah.
only people that we can like talk to are like the dealers and all that. So I think the only time we actually like got to like hang out and stuff is during the quarantine.
Right?
I feel like
I
yeah.
hung out with friends more during lockdown than ever, basically, since like high school.
I mean, also it was like super easy
College.
because Danny was actually our neighbor, like right in front. Like once you open the door, Danny's
we're looking
apartment.
at my door.
Yeah, we were like right across from each other. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so whenever we decided that we'll have like a game night or something, we'll just invite
Bam.
Danny
were
and
there.
Caitlin. Yeah.
Mhm.
At the time, we weren't really like huge on drinks. I was really limited to what I was able to drink and do. How
Oh.
much I could breathe. It's
Yeah,
just like
I
everything
remember-
was
yeah.
so
I was
everything
sitting-
was limited.
I was sitting there and thinking for a second, what are you talking about? You never. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, like in my old apartment.
Yeah.
So, that was fun, and that was like the only really time that we actually
Hung
got
out.
to like and got to like hang out.
Even
and,
though I
talk.
feel like we've always wanted to. Like we've always been very cordial at work, and
I mean, like even
we were actually on opposite shifts for a long time too. I didn't even really meet you at first.
Yeah,
for like
so-
several months at least.
so whenever I invited Danny over my old apartment, and we were like just casually talking, and I'm like, oh Danny, so how long have you been with the company?
What, I was like 2 years.
Yeah.
He's like 2 what?
I
Years?
I thought Danny was new.
Yeah.
I thought like
Yet I was qualified on Pygal.
yeah, I mean like I saw you and I'm like,
Fast
man,
as
he's
hell.
like really good. Dang. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like we were on the opposite schedule for so long that I feel like I have not seen him for a solid year or two.
I guess
Up until
too.
like recently. Like it was crazy.
And we became fast friends.
Yeah.
And then I knew Danny from Doc, and there you go. What
Yeah.
But
was funny? I'm not trying to interrupt you, but what was funny is like he didn't know I was your roommate. He thought I was another
That's
Tristan,
true. That's
and because
true.
I was like, so I heard you're doing a podcast. He was like, he looked at me and said, "Oh, you know about that?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Carl's my roommate." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I remember you actually had said you'd said his name and said like my roommate, and I was like, it like the name like just did not connect with you having told me your name before. I was like, I was completely blank when he said, "Oh, Tristan." I was like, man, I must not have met this guy yet. But there we go.
I was undercover the whole time.
Yeah, you were.
that is he. And jumping back into the topic where we first hung out during the quarantine was one of Danny's stories about his old blimp job, which I found extremely interesting. Extremely like. Just go ahead and tell us.
Are you talking about where I got run over by a blimp?
What?
Tell me one person that you know who almost got run over by a blimp.
I got run over
Go.
by the couch.
I know, yeah. I can fairly confidently say that I'm the only person in the world who's been run over by a blimp. and survived. Like it's an aircraft. I should be dead. Like I
What?
definitely should be dead.
How?
A blimp.
I'm surprised this has not been mentioned on
Yeah.
the
And
death
this
spread.
this was not one of the small blimps. This is one of the big.
Like
it,
Goodyear.
it was the DirecTV blimp, which is basically like the Goodyear sized. Because the Goodyears are massive.
Oh yeah.
For a while, I was on what they used to call Snoopy One. It used to follow golf around and stuff. I had like MetLife and Snoopy on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But I got transferred after MetLife decided to not do that anymore, to not advertise that way anymore. I was transferred to the DirecTV crew, and that's the one that ran me over. So I definitely should be dead.
Now hold up. Was this more of your fault or was it the person like?
It was the pilot made what is he wasn't the best. Okay. However,
Okay.
the person who's more at fault is actually me. I made a couple of little errors, along with a couple of unfortunate situations that happened in
So-
order to sort of lead to that moment, and then a couple of interesting things happened for me to have survived that
So
moment.
wait, with the job, what was your was you an assistant or like?
I was on the ground crew, so
Oh, okay.
So generally, if the blimp is in the air, the only person in it is the pilot.
Okay.
Occasionally, let's say if they're following golf around and they're taking like video of the golf game, what they'll attach like a $500,000 camera on it that can shoot HD video from like 500 feet up, and can zoom in and follow the ball and all that.
Oh yeah.
And then the cameraman will be in there as well. So it'll be the pilot and the cameraman. Otherwise, it's just the pilot. They need the crew on the ground, so it's called the ground crew.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was like if he was up and I was just kind of assuming you probably was ground crew if you got run over, but wasn't sure.
That's fair enough. I was almost really ground.
About to be ground beef.
Yeah. So the way that
It's not funny.
the way that blimp crews work is, let's say when you take off, when you do a takeoff, there's a couple of ropes that hang down from the nose cone, and there's a handrail that goes around the gondola. The gondola is the part where the pilot or passengers can get in, right?
Yeah.
So you sort of have maybe a couple people on the handrail on the gondola and a couple people on each rope. You lead it out into the field. At that point, they've already warmed up the engines or whatever, and you basically just drop the ropes and he takes off. It's no problem. Generally, it's very easy.
Yeah.
However, when a blimp lands, it doesn't land like an airplane. You have to catch it. You have to catch an aircraft.
That sounds scary.
Well, it is a little bit when it's your first few times. After a little while, it actually becomes fun.
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite job I've ever had, easily. And
It
obviously,
sounds like it too. It sounds like it would be my favorite one too. Like ever since he told me this during like that one time, I was like I was actually looking for like blimp jobs.
Listen, this man.
I may be able to to find one. Now I'm in a situation where I don't think Caitlin would appreciate me just like peace. Because you're
that's
basically on deployment. Like, I wasn't back in Florida for even so much as a weekend. For an hour even. For over 6 months when I first joined the Blimp crew.
That's the only thing that like kind of
You just have to buy a laptop, my boy. You know what I'm saying?
no. Like I'm more of a homebody type person. Like everything that I do, I've been doing like since I was a kid. Like you're basically looking at it. If not for like production, I'm just either playing games or anything like that. So like anything that requires travel is
I'll go ahead and tell you this man.
close to impossible.
He's not a good traveler. I mean, like he can like. I was saying something. I forgot what we was talking about, but it was like 2 hours. This man's like, "Oh heck no!" I'm like, "Bro, it's only 2."
I drove to Orlando for this man's birthday, at Universal. So like I'm like, all right, like I'll it's your birthday, so I bought him a gift for Universal tickets for like 4 days.
Oh, wow.
To like a week. Close to like a week. Y'all stayed longer, I think.
We only went to Universal because you only had the weekend off. Remember, you only had your 3 days.
Yeah.
So you drove down. I think we went to Universal. I think we fit everything in 3 days. I think we did try to do everything in 3 days, and then I stayed. I didn't have I didn't do any rides or stuff. City parks open.
Right.
Just in general. So we stayed another day, and did just some stuff in City Park and went home.
Yeah, but basically, like, just driving all the way to Orlando was it was a nightmare for me. I hate being in a car and just driving forward
Just for like a long time.
for a long time. No,
See,
I refuse.
I
Like,
drove coast to coast once.
I wouldn't mind if I was in a
Yeah.
plane, because if I was in a plane,
You don't have to do anything.
well, yeah, but I think the same saying,
the saying goes.
yeah. Like, look, I have no sleep today, so same goes if you're like a passenger on a car, but there's like a difference. On a plane, see, I don't know. There's like a huge difference. Like, anyways, all
You
right.
can stand up and walk around at least. In the
That
plane.
too. Like, you can go to the bathroom or whatever. There's people like handing you drinks. Would you like a glass of wine? Yes, please. I'll have 5. Which whenever I flew to New York, I literally had 5.
Jeez.
Which you can. It was insane.
Man's a low key alcoholic.
I had like 5. But the craziest thing was that flying to New York was only like 2.5 hours. So I was just like, I
Jeez.
landed on there, waited for my friends to like pick me up. He was like, "Are you drunk?" I'm like, "Well, just
I'm
a
drunk
little
as
bit."
hell.
What's funny is when this man gets there, he just says, "Nah, man, I'm good," and then he'll you can tell
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
noticeable.
You know, the craziest thing is that like there was this one point in time that we were supposed to like hang out for like the first time, I believe, and that's when remember Davis?
Yeah.
So Davis was planning the karaoke night.
That's right.
Yeah, you ended
I
up
went.
not going.
Well, I went to one of them.
Oh yeah, I think there was like multiple ones. So the one that you went at, I couldn't go because I was working.
Yeah.
And the one that I went at, I guess like you had plans at the time, so it ended up just being me, Chad, Megan, Davis, obviously Ryan, and some other people.
Okay.
And we did some karaoke stuff, and I sang
That's
a lot
cool.
of I sang a lot of. Whenever I sing, I mostly sing like grunge music
Okay.
mainly.
Dude,
I mean, if you're not working on Thursday, you can come out.
I mean, I'm just like I try to like limit myself. So here's the reason why actually like coincidentally that I'm trying to tell this story because
he can't drink outside of his house.
I can't I
Because
can't
if he
drink
does,
I can't
it's
drink at
bad.
bars. Have you ever heard of the United Christmas Party incident?
The incident.
Yes,
He
there
was
was
the
an
reason.
incident,
No.
including myself and a bunch of other people.
No, I do not know of this.
So hopefully no one's watching the podcast. I know Miss Erin watches the podcast sometimes. If you're watching, Miss Erin, I hope you're asleep.
Please click off.
Also, things are about to get wild, so just
Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
So during the Christmas party, I think this was like the first time I've ever like hung out with people outside of work, especially in the bar for that matter. So you were there, obviously, but whenever the incident happened,
I had already left.
you had already left.
Okay.
So I want to tell Junkie here what happened before Cheers. So we were at Miller's Ale House and we were already doing shots. Miss Erin actually was the one who bought the first round of shots, which she gave to everyone except for Danny, obviously. And we were doing shots and all of that because we exchanged gifts
Mhm.
and such. I believe the gift I got at the time was a green earring. It's like a zombie earring, and everyone kept making fun of it, saying that I have a green chip on my ear or something. It was weird. Victor got me as
Nice.
he got me like those little cool earrings. I
I got
lost them.
Victor something because he was my.
Oh, that's nice. Look at this. Like it's like we're connected for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like, everyone ended up saying like should we all go home or should we do like an after or another like after party?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Continue the party.
Yeah, to continue the party, because like Miss Erin and all that, all the higher ups are like, oh yeah, we're going home.
All the old people.
Yeah, we got jobs, and everyone was like, we don't want to go home yet. Let's go somewhere fun.
Yeah.
How about we go to
crazy.
Cheers? Cheers is like a just a straight out bar.
Yeah.
So we went to Cheers. I was halfway there. I had like 2 shots, really strong shots.
Either.
Might I
You
add?
were already fairly drunk, though.
That's
Yeah,
what
I was
gonna say, he's
halfway
already
there. Like the meter, like have you like so
I've
we
witnessed
we
this
have
man's
we have both watched Mob Psycho just like a couple days ago,
Nice.
so I can make this joke. At that time, I was already at 50%. Okay. So like I rode with Danny. On the way there, we had the Dragon Ball theme song blasting
Yes.
and the Pokemon theme song all the way to Cheers.
Rock the Dragon specifically, and then yes, the Pokemon theme song, and maybe one other. Yeah.
And we were just rocking out on like anime music. As soon as we got there, how long did you end up staying at Cheers?
Like 30 minutes, maybe. Honestly, I felt a little weird at the time because
Was that the first time you actually went to Cheers?
it might have not with that one. It might have been. It might have been my first time. At that
Did you ever see yourself going there every Thursday after that
No.
instance?
That could, if you had told me that a couple years ago, I would have been like, ha ha ha, yourself, honey.
Yeah,
And
probably.
now I'm basically there every Thursday.
So anyways, so I go there, Danny disappears. Like I was already on like we started ordering shots, obviously.
And I'm like, peace.
Yeah. So a bunch of other people showed up again afterwards, like Chris and Nick, dealers, and then Gons showed up. Basically, there was like a bunch of other people. So, from what I remember, all right. So there's like 2 sides of the story. From what I remember and from what I was told. That's
Right.
the fuzzy I don't remember what happened moment. So I started buying people drinks, and apparently I have left the tab. Because I was already like buying people drinks, because I was the only one who was like just downing shots left and right. That was actually Arian's first day, and I may or may not be the reason. First day at United, I feel like, or like first week or
Okay.
first month ish. No one really knew her except
She
for
was fairly
James.
new,
Yeah, because James was like her close friend. So, my memory of Arian in that bar was her laughing in a corner, because I have literally bought her like numerous shots. Her passing out, and that was it. It was her knocked out on the side of the bar
Oh, jeez.
for the entire day.
Okay, let me just pause. When you said the nighted Christmas party incident, I didn't think you were talking about this particular
Oh yeah, you were there. You
Because I was there for part of it, and then maybe the rest of it I heard already, or at least part of the rest of it I heard. But continue.
Yeah, so basically, that was for Arian's chapter. So we're gonna touch up on that on the filler episode of this podcast.
This needs to be an anime itself.
So I started buying people drinks, and I forgot her name, but I forgot her face. That's what I meant to say. I remember her name. Her name's Carly.
Right.
Do you remember her?
I do.
How long was she in? How long was she working for United?
In Orange Park? Because I think she might have worked at Jack's.
See, that's the thing. Like, this is like my second encounter with this woman. But our first encounter was like just casual flirting and all that. Just harmless flirting, I guess. Like how I usually like talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Goofy self, try to make people laugh, all that fun stuff. So she was on the dance floor, like dancing, and obviously, like the music was blasting. I was asking everyone, "Do you want a shot still?" This was like after 2 rounds of shots.
Right.
I remember this part, but at this part, I was like at 85 to 90% Mob Psycho until I went full unstoppable drunk mode. I was asking everyone if they wanted shots. Everyone was saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. I asked Summer if she wanted shots. And she was like, just don't drink too much and, like, be sure to, like, drink some water, you know, because Summer was our supervisor.
Even though she was like 21.
She was, like, way younger than me. And I'm like, all right, you're the responsible one here. So I go to Carly Ann. I think was her full name, or just Carly.
I forget.
But anyways, I go to her. She was dancing. She was already out. So I was like saying, "Do you want shots?" She goes, "What? Do you want shots?" I remember this specifically because I used my hands and I accidentally bumped her boob in one of my hand. For some reason, that stuck to my head. It was an accident.
I'll never forget.
I was doing like, "Do you want shots?" And whenever I did that, I went, "Do you want?" But I'm like, "Oops, sorry." So she still couldn't hear me, so I whispered it to her ear, and that's kind of like
She's like, "Did you ask me if I wanted sex?" Do you?
It wasn't that, but it was
Okay,
so
okay.
basically.
It could be misunderstood.
I told her, "Do you want any more shots?" And as soon as I stopped whispering to her and I pulled back, I have noticed that her hands was already like wrapped, and like our face was like really close. And at that point, I'm like, "Cool," you know what I mean? Because I was already drunk. I was like happy drunk, you know. Also, moral of the story: why I can't go to Cheers is when I start drinking, I just like I become this happy drunk where I just buy everyone drinks. There's a part 2 to this whole story.
Fair enough.
Victor summed it up his drunk phase and
Oh yeah, Victor called me a whore like 3 times whenever I was telling Andres this. Anyways, so
and I've seen this first. I mean, I've seen this man
So-
drunk. Yeah, I believe it.
so I pull away from Carly's ear, and she was already close, and she goes, "Sure," and then she proceeds to like kiss me. And at that point, drunk me was like, sweet, cool, this is happening. I wonder if we'll get in trouble. Were my exact thoughts. And funny enough, that was the last of my memories, and everything else was fuzzy. And then going towards the from what everyone has told me, apparently, we have been like making up for hours.
Jeez.
So like on a dance floor, we stopped. Chad told me, one of the guys like stopped us from making out on the dance floor, and then we went to the side, and then Chad was like, and then y'all made out some more, and then you stopped, grabbed the tray of drinks that you bought everyone, gave everyone shots. You took a shot, she took a shot, and then y'all proceeded to make out again.
As one does.
Yes. And then she drunkenly walks away, wanders about, and I ended up looking for other people to make out with. Apparently,
Oh, no.
I am not sure. I don't remember. So I apparently wandered around. I was trying to wake Arian up, and I was asking her apparently if she wanted to make out.
What, bro?
She had no response. Jess, I asked her if she wanted to make out, and I think she said she only like let me kiss her cheek or something. That was it. And I'm like, cool. And then I went to Chrissy, and then did that, and then went to another person. But like, so here's the funniest part.
Every girl.
With every girl, right?
Thirsty.
So at this point, this is going back to Arian. Arian then like went outside and started puking.
Oh no.
So-
About that.
Yes. So now Chad had to bring her home, but since she was so drunk that she couldn't tell Chad where she lived, Chad ended up texting James and having her crash at James' place because they're like close friends. Which was, you know, it's a crazy night. So while that was happening, or was it before? Anyways, I was already with Chris Solomon, and I was telling Chris he's like my favorite dealer, is like the best dealer there or whatever. This is just drunk me talking, you know.
Yeah.
If Chris is watching this, probably not. So the funniest story for this is that He told me that I found a 1-card player in the bathroom
Oh,
stall, peeing. Because I told Chris that I would use the bathroom real fast. And at Cheers, they would like at some point in time, I guess they had like a buffet.
really?
Yeah, at the time they had like food, so we were getting
Well,
food.
they do have food. But...
Yeah, but like a little buffet thing. So we were grabbing food, and I told Chris I need to use the bathroom. I go inside the bathroom and I see this 1-card player peeing in the urinal. He goes, "Hey, you're the banker," and I look at him and I go, "I know you." So as he was peeing, for some reason, and the craziest part was that I remember this part. I go towards the 1-card player and I proceed to hug him
While he's peeing.
as he was peeing, and Chris was trying to pull me out.
Pause.
It was a weird time, but I was just being friendly. He knew I was being friendly,
Right.
but I guess he found it weird.
Dude,
So now, like
It's very strange.
after like a
It
little
is.
after the Cheers incident, I would see him in 1-card, and when I'm banking there, I kind of can tell that he would look at me, he would play a hand, and then he would walk away, like just awkward, like really awkward face, and I'm just like, bro,
Maybe.
I know what happened, and I'm just like every time I see him, I'm like, I just like bite my cheek or something. I'm just like, dang it.
and then,
anyways.
and then that makes him even think more weird. You know, he's like, man, he must have really been into me.
I
Look at
thought
the
you
way
were-
he's biting his lip.
In the story, I thought you were going to ask him if he wanted to make out as well.
No,
See,
no.
when he told me this, and originally I thought he's going to say the same thing too. So don't feel bad. I was also in that boat, but I could just imagine if I was at a urinal and I was using it, and some drunk person at the casino just walks up, or poker room comes up to me, just starts hugging me while I'm on break. I'm like, what the freak?
So many things has happened, and Summer has told me the next day. Everyone basically told me that I almost got kidnapped by a guy. So apparently,
Fair enough.
a guy gave me his number, and this dude wanted me to come over to his place to drink some more. And apparently, I have said yes because like I was still up and going, and I was ready to party. Were my words. And Summer had to like fend him off.
You're already at 100% at that point.
Yeah, I was way past. I was like 150. I was at that point whenever I gave my powers to my mentor, and it became like 1,000%. So, anyways, he texted me the next day, by the way, and I just ended up blocking his number. I almost got kidnapped and raped.
That would be unfortunate.
Yes.
Man, your
So
butt would've
that's
really
like
been
one of
hurting.
the 10 billion things why I refuse to go to any bars anymore. And then the next day I woke up at Chris's house. And I found out it was Chris's house was because like whenever I stood up, I started wandering about his living room, and I saw all of Chris's picture.
You know,
And I'm like, "Oh, Chris's house."
funny thing is, this man did this the other day too. He got drunk. He fell asleep on the couch here. He wakes up, and I'm here on the couch, you know, I was watching TV, and he's like, he freaked out for a second, and he's like, dude, I didn't know whose house I was in for a second. It was when we first just got the couch.
Oh,
And he was
yeah,
like-
I'm like, "What the frick are you talking about?"
And I'm like, yeah,
It
you're,
gave me
you're
a
still
heart
here.
attack. I woke
You're
up and I saw this couch. I saw this TV, and I'm like, "Where am I?" So, anyways, that was like my first thing. The second incident was at Davis's karaoke night, where you didn't get to go. Anyways, the Cheers was like around $400 something was my tab.
Jeez.
So the Davis karaoke night was around $300 the next day, because apparently I have also again bought everyone drinks, and I mean everyone drinks, even like people I don't know. And Megan told me that I told the bartender to make every drink that he can possibly make,
Oh, jeez.
and then give it to everyone. Really, so I mean, at least it was just like around $300 something, but it was
Yeah, he probably could tell that you're like,
the Irish car bomb or something like that. I think that's what it's called. Really good too.
What an unfortunately named drink.
Yeah, an Irish car bomb. There's another drink there that tasted like Listerine.
see, I've seen this man drunk multiple times, and one thing is that you got to watch this man, because he'll be like, I mean, here it's not like a big deal, but like in public places, man, you gotta make sure that he ain't gonna try to buy stuff or make out with someone because he didn't do anything at Universal, but he got a little drunk, like where I drove us. We was in his car, but I drove us back to the room because but he this waitress we had, I think her name was like Gabby or something, but
How do you still know her name? Is my
because
question.
this was such an iconic part of the trip, I can't forget it. So we went.
I
to,
left my number there, and she never called me.
We went to the
How
chocolate
dare-
factory, and
Chocolate Factory.
yeah,
Was it called the Chocolate Factory?
Are you sure it wasn't the Cheesecake Factory?
no, it was a chocolate factory.
Where was
It
this?
was themed Universal.
Okay, fair enough.
So we went there. This man
It
got.
was a steampunk themed restaurant.
It was really
Nice.
cool.
The manager I have low-key insulted without
that
knowing
was-
she was a manager.
That was funny.
She looked like someone from Alice in Wonderland, and she was like, "Are y'all doing okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're just standing." I forgot what I told her. And then one of the waiter or what do you call those women, like those people who
Host,
yeah, one of the hosts was like,
hostess.
"Oh yeah, that was our manager." I'm like, "Oops."
But he got this like dog brew beer is what it's called or something like that.
Dogfish.
Dogfish beer. I think he drank.
It's an IPA.
He drunk one fully and half of another one, and he kept. Okay, so obviously I'm fully sober. I'm like I didn't drink a drop. I'm just sitting there, and I got like a brownie shake is what I ended up getting. It was super good. But this man, he's already in his drunk phase, and I can tell this. And he always, every time he'll be like, "Nah, man, I'm good." And then I'm like, "Bro, I know where you're at right now. Just don't even try." You know what I'm saying? But
Break out the chains.
he kept.
Just like a tip from someone who drinks. Don't drink with an empty stomach. It'll hit you harder and faster.
I have heard.
Yes.
For those listening, I have never had a drink of alcohol in my life.
Also, actually, the mic's face is the side there.
Oh, is it?
Never in my
No, because Danny was like pointing.
Oh,
it.
okay.
So it's not on the top like normal microphones. This condenser mic
Yeah,
is
here.
Yeah, it's like here.
So
Got
he.
There you go.
So
So where the audio technique is, that's where the front
Never in my life.
is.
so Gabby was our waitress, and this man, he didn't say nothing while he's sober. He didn't say nothing about her, like at all. Now this man started drinking, and when
It's like, bring me that booty.
it was towards the end of the meal, and I'm waiting for him to get done. I was already done. The bill was there. I paid for mine or whatever, and he was sitting there, and he was like, "What do you think about that waitress?" And I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, she's nice." And I just like I thought it would just be like how she did her job or whatever. I didn't know what I didn't know how he meant it really.
What?
Well, he didn't mention her at all the whole meal. It was just all of a sudden he just like, "What do you think about that waitress?" I'm like, I mean, she's nice,
Okay, but was she cute? Was she like very clearly
Yes.
attractive?
Yeah, I would say she was.
Then what the hell, man?
But still, though, it was just so out of like just out of the blue. We was talking about something else completely. This man was like, "So what do you think about the waitress?" I'm like,
If it's me, I'm gonna be immediately like, she's pretty hot, or I'll be like, nah,
and
don't do
he
it.
She's pretty hot.
he says
Nice.
he says he says I think she's cool. Is what he says back to me, and I'm like, okay.
So basically, what happened there was,
He contemplated. We was there another hour because this man was contemplating on giving her his number or not. He kept sitting there and he's like, "I can't do it."
I was at 20%.
And
I
I
wasn't
said-
like fully.
Oh man,
And
Yeah.
I said, "Just do it."
you
Just-
need to be able to unlock your powers without
But
having alcohol. Yeah.
I mean, alcohol is the source of all my problems.
So
No. Yes, but not the source of your powers.
we'll fast forward this 30 minutes to an hour of however long this took, but pretty much it kept saying him about to rise numbers like, "I can't do it." And he'd be all really sad. I'm just like, just do it. It don't matter. You'll never see her again, probably. And he was like,
No, you won't.
"You're
Especially if you
right."
give her your number. If you get her to give you her number, then there's a possibility.
No.
The other way around will almost never happen.
So anyway, he writes the number down finally, and we go up to walk out. She comes around the corner, and this man freaks out, and he goes, "Run, Junkie, run!" Screams it. I'm like, "Shut up!"
And we booked it
Because
out
I'm
of
sitting
there.
here thinking they're gonna think we're like dying because he didn't
Dying
pay for
and
his video. Yeah, I paid for mine, but he didn't pay for his yet because he was writing his number down. So I'm like, "Shut up!" And then he brought the beer out and he's walking around Universal and he's like, "Man, I think I should get a tattoo." And I'm like, "All right."
Those tattoo people were really rude.
And they snuffed this man, and I'm like,
Wow.
it was
Extremely
awkward.
rude. I have no tattoos. I go in there fresh, like no tattoos. I don't know how it works. I go, how much for a tattoo? And the guy basically told me,
That's the dumbest question ever.
yes, that is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dumbest question I've ever heard. And I'm like, what? He goes,
That is kind
what
of
do
a
you
dumb
mean, how
question.
much for a tattoo? And I'm like, how much for a tattoo, man? I don't know, dude.
Well, because it's like it depends on the size, like what kind of tattoo, how much work is gonna have to go into it. Like it is a very vague question. Like it's like asking how much for a car. Like what kind of car? You're talking like a 92
I mean,
Honda Civic, or are we talking
was
about like a
basically
Lamborghini?
like, because I just want like a small like tattoo for like, where it's like permanent one, I guess. But yeah, like that guy really he did not
You did not appreciate the question.
No,
did not appreciate
he
the
did not.
question.
I
And
laughed.
as a customer, I did not appreciate the service.
I laughed.
I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here. You know?
Right.
He was like really angry, like just like that.
And we get to the car, and this man tells me, he says, "Man, I can drive." I'm like, no, you're not driving. We're not dying.
You
Give
need
me
me
your
there,
keys.
Carl, so I can hold you back.
But yeah, I've seen this man drunk multiple times. It's always a interesting time. But if we ever do go to the bar, I will always restrain this man from buying drinks because every time he goes to the bar, he's bankrupt. He just not bankrupt, but
Yeah,
he
well,
buys a lot of.
You need to bring me along so I can physically restrain him if
Yeah.
need be.
That is true. I mean that is like the main reason why I refuse to go to bars anymore.
enough.
Like if I were to drink, I just drink here because, like, worst case scenario, I'll just end up
Right.
dead in my couch, just like every day.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I go, I just don't drink.
I'm not trying to. Well, I'm backtracking very far.
I mean, you're about to drink though.
I'm considering drinking tomorrow for the first time ever.
Don't do it
Oh,
on
you're
empty
considering? I
stomach,
thought that was a
though.
done
I thought it
deal.
was a sealed deal. If I just signed like a blood oath to it,
I mean, I'm planning on it.
That what's it called again?
Daiquiri?
Yeah, that daiquiri has your name on it now. Reserved for Danny.
Apparently.
Yo, I'm not trying to backtrack. This is really far backtracking, but we never got to hear it because we've sidetracked so far, and it kept going. But how did the incident come about? You getting run over by the blimp? We didn't when we finished it, and I've been sitting here
Going
like,
back
in
to the
back of my
blimp
mind,
an
like,
hour
I
later.
need to know.
Well, there's something else we didn't get to either, though.
What was that?
The subject of the podcast.
Oh, the anime?
We were going to talk about anime today.
Oh my
right?
gosh, you're right.
I mean, it's on the screen and everything.
Yeah, it was ready for us to talk.
Okay, let's.
Yo, hold up, Doc. Yo, stop. We got to hear this man's blimp.
Yeah.
No.
Go for it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll
Unless
talk
you
about
don't
anime.
want to.
No, I don't mind at all.
But I've been like dying to know because I've been sitting here the whole time like, I need to know.
I don't mind. So, something about a blimp. Well, we talked about a little bit about the fact that you have to catch it. The way you do that, let me just back up this microphone a little bit. The way you do that is the ground crew lines up in a V in the field, right? So it's we sort of dock at airports. Usually not like the big international airports, but like little municipal airports and stuff like that. And it's not going to be on like a runway or a tarmac, or it's in the grass. It's like in a field.
I actually know what the ones you're talking about are. Yeah.
Right. So you line up and you line up in facing the direction. What's going on?
That is bits. Someone has donated some bits. Yo's Reese, thanks for the 100 biddies, which is like equivalent to like $1. or
Cool.
something.
Thanks, buddy.
The blimp.
So anyway, so back
All right.
back to your blimp story.
Yeah, so you line up in a V, and you're basically looking in the direction like the wind is going away from you. Okay, so you're looking in the same direction that the wind is going, and the blimp is going to aim itself basically into the V. The crew chief will be like, okay, the wind's coming this way, so we're gonna line up right with the wind so that when the blimp comes in, he can use the wind to help him slow down, and he'll use the reverse propellers as well. So it's propeller engines. It's airplane engines that they use with propellers on them. And there's a way that they can reverse the propeller directions so that they're still spinning in the same direction, but they're now pushing air instead of pulling it. So
I didn't even know what he said. He said survive the blimp or hashtag survive the blimp. I didn't even see that message.
I like it. I did survive, so
Yes.
That's why you're able to tell the story.
which is why I'm here today. So I'm lined up, right? Something else. The company that I worked for operated at the time most of the blimps in the world. It was called Van Wagner Airship Group. I have fond memories. So unfortunately, it was a little bit lazy in hiring. So every city we went to, we had to hire a couple of temp workers to assist us.
Right.
Usually like labor ready, like those places, right?
Yeah.
So a couple people that are going to be new to blimps, every 1 or 2 days a week, we're going to be using people who are completely new to it,
Yeah.
which is usually fine. But the problem, like I said, the takeoff is easy, but the problem is the catch, right? So this particular day, we had a couple of brand new people and these temp workers, and we were doing a flight, but the pilot decided to do a night flight rather than a day flight. Normally they will fly a day flight. You'll take off and the sun is up, and he lands and the sun is up. Well, this time we do the takeoff when the sun is up, but we land when it's dark, like it's fully nighttime, like I don't know, 11 p.m. or something like that. So this, unfortunately, when you go to catch a blimp, if it's your first time, it is scary as hell. Like, you are expected to know what to do in this darkness, first of all, because when the blimp comes down, because of FAA regulations, for some reason they have to turn off the internal lights. So you're just like, it's in the dark, and there's like a rope. You have to find the rope, and then you have to run out on the rope, and so that you can, like, the blimp's still coming forward, so you have to come out. You go to the rope, and then you sprint in like a reverse 45-degree angle this way, and come out on the rope as well, so the other people can come out on the rope, and then you guys come together, help slow the blimp down, and then eventually bring it to a halt, and then lead it up to the
That
mast.
sounds
Goodness gracious.
stressful.
Yes, and if it's in the day,
At dark. I mean, especially at dark,
especially at dark, and
Because I know how tough it'd be working out in the dark. Because I used to, I know it's a very smaller scale, not nearly the extent, but I used to do stable work, and sometimes it'd be night, and to find those horses at night, to get them to come in, that was.
now what if it was your first day and it was at night?
That would
Like
suck.
that,
Even in that scenario, it would suck because
Yeah,
trying to get them to lead them to go. If that's my first day doing that,
Right.
I know it's a lot smaller skill, but it would suck.
Right. So that was the situation. And unfortunately, the pilot that particular day was a guy named Caesar. Now, Caesar's a good guy, right? Mm-hmm. I'm half Colombian. Caesar happened to be a Colombian fellow himself. So that was kind of cool. And he was a very friendly person. Unfortunately, he was not the best pilot, right? He was sort of known for coming in on his landings a little too hot, a little too fast. So this particular night we line up, right? I'm a little bit worried about our temp workers because I'm like, this is their first catch ever, and it's at night. Like, they have no idea what to do. Like, it's going to be, the chances for something going wrong are pretty high tonight. Okay, but I'm on the V. I'm on the tip of the V, so I'll be the first person on the rope on my side. And I'm thinking about this, and then I see Caesar coming in, right? We line up, Caesar's coming in, the blimp's coming in, and then I see it, and I could tell already it's coming in too fast. Like, it's just too fast. And I expect the crew chief to wave us off and to just be like, go around again and slow down better, right? He didn't do that.
That's crazy.
He didn't do that. So what happened is he gets a particular distance from us, and the crew chief yells, instead of waving us off and saying go around, he yells, pick him up, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine, right? Which is what that's your cue to go and catch the blimp, right? So the first person on the V, in this case, is me. So when you go out on the ropes, right? If you're at the tip of the V, you go straight to the ropes, and then you sprint in like a reverse 45-degree angle. And the people behind you who are coming up to help on the rope, you don't go directly to the person on the rope. Because either you're going to get clotheslined, which has happened, or you're going to knock the person on the rope flat on their ass. Like you're going to knock them down, right? So what you have to do is so they're sprinting this way. When you're sprinting towards them, you have to let them pass you and then cut in, right? And come out on the rope now, okay? So, and you could be 2 or 3 people that have to eventually come out on this rope. Okay. So I could tell he's coming in too hot. He yells, pick him up. So I sprint out, and then I sprint in a reverse 45-degree angle, and I'm running with the rope in my hands, right? And I notice he's still going too fast. So I try to, lean back a little bit or hold back and try to use my body weight to slow the blimp down. Now, on the Snoopy 1 blimp, the lighter MetLife blimp, that would work. However, the DirecTV does not give a fuck about your 180 pounds body weight at all.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even slow it down. It ended up starting to drag me. So I'm on the rope on the side of the blimp, right? It starts to drag me in line with the blimp, in line with the gondola, next to which are the engines, the propeller engines, right? Danger, danger.
Yeah.
So as I'm holding it back, I'm still waiting for the second person to catch up. It happened to be one of his temp workers. In this particular case, it was a woman. Mostly it was men, but this particular case was a woman. And what happened had nothing to do with the fact that she was a woman in this particular case.
Good save.
She was a big, like, strong for a woman, bigger and stronger than you would expect, and fairly athletic. So but the thing is, it's her first ever catch, and it's at night. So I'm still waiting for her to catch up to me because in the field at the time, I was pretty quick. So I got to the rope and I started sprinting, and all this is happening, right? In just a span of a few seconds. All right, I'm running. Then I noticed that I'm starting to get in line with I'm actually almost seeing the gondola above my head, the front of the gondola, which, like, to the side of the gondola, like, are the propeller engines, which is danger, danger, right? So I decided this was a mistake. I should not be holding back. I should run out, and when they catch up to me, they catch up to me, right? So I was like, okay. So I immediately start sprinting out again, but then I see her about 10 feet away from me, coming at me full blast, right? Runs right into me.
Oh, no.
And knocks me flat on my face, right?
Oh, no.
Knocks me straight down. So I cover up, right? Boom, I cover up, and I feel an impact on my back, right? My first thought is it's the propellers and I'm dead.
Yeah.
My second thought, which was like a half second later, was like, no,
I'm not dead.
these particular propellers had a guard underneath them, so it's just the landing gear, and it broke my back or something, right? My third thought, which all this happens like within a second, is that I think I'm okay. Like, I feel fine. So I get up and I run to the rope, right? Everybody else is looking at me like, are you okay? Like, you just got run over by a blimp. Like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. Internally, I'm like, I almost just died. Like, I'm freaking out internally, but exterior, I'm just like,
you gotta show your.
Yeah, I'm cool. It's all good, man.
Don't break your pose.
Yeah. So why did I survive? You know why I got run over, right? Now that I've explained it. Why did I survive? Okay, so this particular blimp, DirecTV blimp, on the side of it, there was a sign.
Brought to you by DirecTV.
Yeah, it's brought to you by DirecTV. Except I'm not a huge fan of DirecTV, generally. Anybody who calls their customer service line is not a fan of them either. But DirecTV, come and sponsor the podcast, and then we'll reconsider.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, definitely reconsider that at that point.
Sell out no time.
All right. Anyways, and I'm having a little fun at DirecTV's expense, but I'm sure their executives have a good sense of humor, and hopefully will take this well. Regardless, why did I survive? This particular blimp had a sign on the side of it, like an electronic sign, so that you could program, like, okay, on sale, $19.99 a month or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could program in a message, and the way it did that is through this array of LED bulbs on this one side of the ship, not on both, just the one side. And it's about 600 pounds, like thousands of LED, about 600 pounds worth of LEDs. Because of that, this particular blimp is always sort of tilted to one side, right? Always tilted to port. I got run over on the starboard side here. So as it ran me over, it was tilted, and I got run over on the lighter side of it, right? Mm-hmm. And the second reason why I survived is Caesar does come in a little too fast, right? But he didn't come down too hard. So those, combined with it was tilted one way, and the fact that he didn't come down too hard, means that I survived, and I'm here today.
Still, though, it sounds pretty impressive that you didn't get hurt at all. Like,
Yeah.
You just, like, got up from it and just was fine. Dude, I'm just saying, if something really bad happened to you, that woman would have probably felt so bad. Like, she probably would have had to have therapy for years.
Probably.
Just because she'd be like, I was the reason. I guess from the sounds of it, she probably not really intentionally trying to be.
No,
I know it's an accident.
It wasn't her fault. Like I said, she was her first time ever working on a blimp.
Oh yeah,
and her first ever catch, which is the hardest part, basically, was at night, and you can barely tell what's going on.
Oh yeah.
I caught blimps for probably 3 months before I ever had to do my first night catch, and it was actually the DirecTV blimp. Because I was helping out the DirecTV crew because they were doing a night flight, and because the DirecTV and Snoopy One were in the same field at that particular point. So I went to go help them, and I had already been catching for a couple of months, and I still was like, "What's going on? Where do I go? Like, is that where the rope is? Am I gonna get clotheslined?" Like, yeah.
It was like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Your first night catch was the DirecTV, and it was the one that.
Yeah. In retrospect, some of this should have been expected, I suppose, but no, I mean, obviously I survived, so I'm fine.
It's probably the reason you didn't get injured.
It's such a cool job, though.
I
really want to like try that at some point.
This is a good segue. The reason you survived was because you had an anime flashback in your mind. You said you was having all those thoughts. That's why you survived. You know how the anime characters, they always be going when they're in battle. They're like, "How did this happen? What's going on? This has happened because of this or this."
They have like their anime flashbacks.
They slow down time.
I was more like, this was a mistake.
Yeah. At this moment, Danny
mistakes have been made.
Yes. With that being said, what's your favorite anime? My Hero. Oh yeah, me too. So we're gonna talk about
discussing My Hero Academia today.
My Hero Academia, which all three of us have watched. So I want to talk a little bit about My Hero before we skirt dip here. So first of all, obviously, the most common question is, who is your favorite character in the series? Starting with let's start with Juggy, since he's a little fresh.
I kind of feel like for me, just because it gave me the most, I guess, relatable experience was probably his rival.
Bakugo?
Yeah, because the reason being is because it reminded me, and you know what people reminded me of. It reminded me of two people.
How is that your favorite dude? So basically, he likes Bakugo because his personality matches two of our friends combined.
because it made me laugh every scene because I could just think back to flashbacks of these two individuals and it just made me laugh. I mean, he probably isn't my favorite, but it just made me laugh the most out of them scenes. Now, to most people, he may seem annoying or along those lines or more, he's just a hothead. But to us, or to me anyway, since it reminded me of so many other moments I had with these two people, I died laughing every scene. I'm just like, this hits home too much.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I feel like,
Carl, what are you doing, buddy?
he's just off in his own world.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep talking. So this is just basically what's being shown on it. So that's what's being shown. So as we're talking,
But
Is it? Are they hearing the audio of the video as well?
no, they're not.
Okay, good.
Not anymore.
All right.
I feel like the one that has the most cool factor for me though is probably Eraserhead, just because like he just does not care. He just shows up to class, sleeps in his bag.
Wait, so who is your favorite one? Oh, the mouse is right here. So that would be that.
Man had it on.
So no wait, so and I already muted it. I don't know what happened, why it unmuted itself. But
You
so
unmuted
so you like Bakugo?
Yes, I like him just because he gives me a lot of laughs. Just,
Oh yeah, he is definitely
That's
one
the
of the
thing.
one of
That's
the funniest.
he's
people
the
on there.
funniest for me just because of how. But I don't feel like, to me personally, I don't feel like, which is why I was saying this to Danny. I don't feel like it would be as funny to most people if they didn't. If I didn't know them two,
Right.
it wouldn't be nearly as funny as my point. But I think Eraserhead honestly is like my favorite just because he just has that cool factor to me.
He's very cool. He's
Yes.
probably the coolest character in the show.
And his quirks.
You literally
pretty
just
cool.
stole my guy, so now I'm gonna have to think of another guy.
Well, you can say why he's cool to you, or why you like him.
It's not much to say. When
That's
in terms
great.
of anime, I just have this attraction towards cooler mentors. Like, obviously my very first anime. Well, he doesn't really have a mentor in Bebop. So, moving towards Naruto, I was a huge
Kakashi
fan
Sensei.
of. Yeah, I was a huge fan of Kakashi. He was like my main guy.
He's my favorite character in that.
He is by far my only favorite. So whenever he became Hokage, I was cheering up to Kakashi like he just got elected president in our country. Like that's how I was cheering for him whenever he became Hokage.
Yeah.
And I was like tearing up, like just huge smile on my face.
He's the most solid guy in that whole series.
Oh well, yeah,
Such a good
hands
guy.
hands down, hands
Yeah.
down. We actually, I have the reason why I restarted Naruto was so I can have him watch it as well, which will be a very long journey for you.
But that's still no excuse for not having seen Demon Slayer. That's no excuse. Tell him in the comments. Please tell him in the comments how much of a travesty it is that he hasn't seen it yet, and that I'm going to be watching Mugen Train and renting out a theater for some of the people that I know to go watch it. And Carl's going to be like, "Oh, I haven't even seen the series yet, so I won't even go and watch the movie and hang out with you guys."
I mean, I can go.
Except
hang
he better, or else.
I can.
out.
I'm about to just.
I just want to say my anime like I feel like I've gotten into anime a lot more since I moved down here, obviously. But I want to say that how much My Hero I enjoyed because all right, so he started this I think just because he wanted to watch the English dub.
Oh,
He
the
already
dub?
watched the sub
Nice.
and he wanted to watch dub, so he started over again and he's like cooking one day, and so I was just in here and I was watching it. And so this man went to work because at the time it was before I got employed by Nada yet. So he just went to work. I literally just sat there and my whole day I just watched that. I watched it for like 12 hours. I watched so much of it.
I think
that
I
week.
called him at one point because this was his first week here, so I was trying to check like I wonder how he's doing, like if he's okay, if he's still alive. I call this man. He goes, "Hello." I'm like, "Hey man, so what's up? What are you doing?" "Oh, still watching." I'm like, "Still watching?" It's been like hours
good
at this
show,
point.
I mean.
Yeah, I just got into it. And it was see, I have a problem with animes because like I have a problem where I get hooked and it's like I can't stop watching and until like a certain part is done. And then I'm like, okay, I can go. But going forward with that, we watched One Punch Man. I binge watched the crap
Oh yeah,
out of that.
I
real
love
quick.
One Punch
ever
Man,
since
you know?
ever since he was like he got hooked on My Hero, and I was telling him personally, I'm like, we're almost done with season 4 of My Hero. Was it season 4? Yeah, we're almost done with the season. After we're done with the season, I have another anime, sort of like the same in terms of like just the story, the story of the anime, also superheroes, also by rankings. And I started playing One Punch Man. By far one of my favorite animes.
Yeah, that's.
I would put One Punch Man.
Please forgive him for saying animes when anime itself is already plural.
Really?
It's crazy.
Yes.
Or animi.
Animoxin.
Animoxin. So, I told everyone this, that my top anime is One Punch.
That's a great one to have as a top anime.
It is. It is so good. I don't know. It's
I
really
got so
stupid.
tired of waiting for more seasons
Did you
to come out
read?
that I went and started reading not only the manga but the webcomic as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Even Andres. Every time we say his name, it has to be like
Andres.
Andres. He told me that he was like, Carl, man, I read it. I'm so disappointed in myself. I watched the 2 episodes. I read the manga for My Hero, and in my car I was crying, and I'm like, no,
He told me that today.
no, dude, don't tell me this.
Don't tell me.
He was like, no, it's happy crying. And I'm like, it's too
Still.
late. It's too late now. No matter, like it doesn't matter.
Don't
what
try to
kind
make it better now.
And then after One Punch, which is recent, we've watched this. But
Unfortunately, One Punch was very short
Oh,
because
yeah.
it only had 2 seasons.
But Victor wanted
So
him to
sad.
watch Mob Psycho, and so I was like, I'll just watch it with you. So I finished this before he did.
Do you
because
know
it's
there's
been
a
past
season
that.
2 of
No.
Mob Psycho? Mob Psycho?
I did
We were
not.
watching on HBO Max, so I think we have to look for. I think it's on Netflix. But
Oh, okay.
Victor showed us that there's like a season 2 still ongoing.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I thought it ended at 1.
But this man passed out, and while this man passed out, I didn't know he passed out because he was drinking. So like I didn't yeah, I couldn't tell. Anyway, so I finished it, and he was like, "You watched?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I couldn't go to sleep. I had work that day. I could not go to sleep." I was like, "I gotta watch it," and then he puts Naruto on, and at the point I was talking to Reese, so I wasn't in here at the first like 3 episodes.
It was fine. Like
And
the
then-
first couple episodes of Shonen Jump was just him. I told him basically
Of what?
I did a rundown because I started Shonen Jump. Right?
What?
Shonen Jump?
The
Naruto?
okay.
That's what it's called, like the first one.
No. It was published in Shonen Jump in the.
Oh, I thought that's what it's called.
No. That
Just
Shonen
Naruto.
Jump was a like a magazine where they publish.
Oh, I thought
popular-
I thought that's what it was called. I thought Naruto Shonen Jump or something.
They publish popular anime or sorry, popular manga chapters. Oh, the new
So-
chapters
so
of
just-
popular manga.
So just Naruto then.
Yes.
Naruto.
Yeah.
Naruto.
Yeah.
So basically, I started that, and he wasn't here for the first bit, which is basically him being, like, just vandalizing everyone's faces, like the Great Hokages. He was like vandalizing their faces on. This was when he failed his test. One of his instructors told him to steal the scroll, which he then learned his multi-shadow clone jutsu.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the part that he missed.
Okay.
And for me, it's not worth like rewinding and rewatching those first bits.
Right.
because it was slow. The first bit was
Suffice
slow.
it to know, he's not supposed to know that technique, yet he does.
Yeah, it was a forbidden technique, very advanced.
I don't know why it should be forbidden though, because I mean,
it just makes a clone of you like multiple times, I guess.
yeah, but other people use like water clones, wood clones, like.
But not as many as Naruto's.
Well, that's because Naruto has a freaking huge chakra reserve.
Speaking of Naruto, like Nate just spoiled something huge for me on Boruto, and
Boruto. I could not care less about Boruto. I think.
but still the story continues,
No,
and
it
it's
doesn't.
just sad. Like
The story-
I heard it and I'm like it's sad, but I want to like, which is why I was rewatching Naruto so I can start on Boruto, hopefully not fall asleep because I heard that it's a horrible.
What's funny?
Anime.
I want to point this out. I was watching this dude that makes like skits, right? And he was like, when you catch your friend watching a bad anime, and it showed Boruto, and this man, I quote what he said. He said, "Boruto, ew," is what he said. No lie. That is the words he said.
I mean,
And now he's over here like,
I was
spoiled it for
forcing
me,
I
like,
was
he was-
forcing myself to watch that show, and it was just so slow. Like I was at like episode 5 or something. It was at that point where they were like introducing each other. It was like an incident with a train or something like that with like Shikamaru's son and all them, and I'm like, what is happening? And then like I've reached like episode 7. Basically, Naruto's son is like a little punk.
Yep.
But anyways, not going to a fast track. So he started with Zabuza's arc, basically.
Right. Fair enough.
And
That's a good place.
I woke up, and this man was like, "Yeah, I've been watching this show since like up until like 12 p.m."
I'm on the pain arc already. It's like-
Wait, are you?
no, he's not.
Oh, no.
No. I've seen all. I mean, I've seen most of it, and then I read the manga for the war arc. Which
You
annoyed-
haven't watched the war arc?
I've watched most of it since then.
What?
Yeah, I've watched most of it since.
How
then.
about all right? So this is just like the only info that I care about. Have you seen Night Guy in
Yes.
like animated form?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because that's like the best fight scene I've ever watched.
My guy, plus a little help versus Madara.
Plus a little, yeah.
Yeah. Bro. Yes.
Yeah, Madara Uchiha has, or like he basically made Guy Sensei as like the strongest martial artist to have ever lived,
Yeah.
and he is. But I don't want to spoil anything yet. This is like literally at the end of the
When it comes
the
to
the
taijutsu.
billion episodes that's yet to come.
Yeah. Let's not be spoiling the.
and see, I wasn't planning on staying up 12 p.m. All right,
But he did finish his Zabuza art. So
that.
Okay.
But I'm getting to that.
Let me just clarify. That's only when it comes to taijutsu. There are plenty of people who can still wreck 8 Gates Guy. Madara himself was one of them. He had to have help.
well, yeah, well,
Yeah.
that Madara's OP.
Yeah, but there's a couple OP. I mean, when Obito had absorbed the Jubi, Naruto and Sasuke both, after they meet that one guy, after they get their little buffs when they're fighting Madara later on. I don't want to spoil anything. Sorry, I'm being very vague about this.
Yeah.
Well, when they get their buffs later on, like they get stupid OP as well.
I mean, that is true.
Although Madara's still like, hey, I can still wreck you guys.
Madara completely. I can't talk about. All right, so let's just go
Yeah,
back.
let's.
All right. So basically, fortunately, you will not remember this because by the time that you reach to that point, it'll be like the year 2023.
Yeah.
So it's all good. But what are we talking? Oh yeah, My Hero. So you said Eraserhead was your favorite character.
Yeah.
How about you, Danny? Who is your favorite?
I'm not sure that if I have a favorite character, but one character that I feel like should have more. I mean, first of all, Todoroki's a beast. I love Todoroki.
Oh yeah, obviously.
But the character with like the shadow bird monster thing, Oh man. I
What's his
forget
name?
now. Sorry, bird monster guy.
He's like the fourth, I think, in the class that's strongest.
Right. I feel like he could be
Have
a
you seen
lot
have you
stronger
seen
than he
have you
is.
seen both the movies for it?
No, I've not.
Oh no. I mean, I have it here. Like, if we had more time, we would actually watch it. But so have you seen any of the movies?
I saw part of one and I just was not interested at all, I guess.
Oh, like the part of the first one,
Yeah.
wherever like they went to this secured island.
Yes. That's
That
the
that
one.
was actually pretty good as
Was it?
well.
Because I immediately was just like, this is not
Listen,
really part of the main story.
there's one
I so
part-
don't care.
You can skip to it if you want to. There's one part though at the end. It is hilarious.
All right, so there's this one guy who was like, he was going to that classic anime, like sad music starts playing. He goes, I can't believe I haven't seen it all these years. And you know how like the normal anime people, they would like start talking about it and then like flashbacks would occur. Anime stuff, right? Before this guy ever got to like start at it, the sad music starts playing.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy that they were fighting was still alive. So as he was saying his like sad story, this man got smacked. Like he just disappeared from the camera. It was the funniest thing, like so unorthodox. I'm just like, what just happened?
Nice.
It was so funny.
That's what you get for trying to monologue.
But I must say, like the second movie was the best.
Okay.
And the second movie, I know, like I think it's connected to the story. I don't want to spoil anything,
Okay, fair enough.
but they're like the two movies are not connected. Well, they're connected to the series, but whatever. But the second movie happens right after the season finale, so which is good.
Okay, maybe I should watch it then.
Yeah,
Yeah, the second
and
movie
and
is
basically,
pretty good.
I'm not gonna spoil anything here, but basically they're like, okay, so to train you guys better, we're going to send you to another secured island. like the first movie, but this time this island doesn't have any heroes, nor does it have villains. So they're just there to help the citizens out, to be their own hero agency,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like still in training. So that's basically the moral of
Yeah,
the story, and
yeah,
then
the reason-
obviously, it being a movie, you would know what happens next. Like, oh no bad guys. No, there's bad guys on there.
Yeah, they just said the reason they sent him to this island, and they felt like it'd be, I know he said, but just to put a little bit more on it, is just because literally they said there was no crime on that island. Like, there was no big time villains that would be there. And then, of course.
So they'll be safe and secure.
Yes. So it's not, I just didn't want you
Also,
to think, because he said no secure island, I didn't want you to think it was another.
Hawks. I mean, Hawks was part of that movie,
Nice.
so I like Hawks.
Did he get some good screen time?
Not
He
really.
got 5 seconds.
That's
He got
unfortunate.
the first bit and then he got
Poor
the
guy.
last bit. But so basically, why I love this movie so much was it reminded me so much of Goku and Vegeta. At one point, like the last part.
Oh, yeah. It reminded me, I was about to say the last part reminded me of the Cooler movie, where they fought Mill Cooler. And
Yeah.
like that reminded me so much. It
Cooler.
was like the battle scene literally reminded me of that so much. I'm just like, this looks very familiar.
So this movie actually really good. So as someone who loves My Hero to another person, I strongly recommend watching Heroes Rising. It's called.
Okay.
Is it right?
I think so.
What's the first one called?
I don't remember the name of the first one.
But the second one is called Heroes Rising. It's
second one is
really
better.
good. The second one was by far better. The first one was
Passable.
it was okay.
It had the end. The end had it. The end is the reason.
I mean, it was just
Because
some
there's a
funny
few things
moments.
about the end of it that was like good.
But like the second movie, the fight scenes, like the entire class was actually part of a fight, of a major fight,
Nice.
which you don't see a lot in like the My Hero
And
so far, because like every time they fight someone, it's always like either concentrated on these two
Yeah.
or like separated. But this on the movie, all of them were like helping each other out to take out
a major.
these villains, a major villain.
Yeah. And I feel like it actually made sense. And
It
had a
it
good
showcased
reason.
all their powers, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Except for all right, so let me say my least favorite person
is the invisible girl.
Yo,
She
I
is the most
Is
useless
she
person
even
there. Like sometimes you
Yeah.
won't even see her. Like that's her
Hey,
thing.
Just
It
to let
could be
you know,
somebody else, even with a visibility ability that just pretends to be a high
But-
school student.
in that battle, in the
There's-
final
it's a-
battle,
she's a spy.
battle,
I feel
she
like
doesn't do
I feel like that. I feel like she is a spy as well. Here's my hunch. Here's my theory for it. Either she's a spy, or if she's not a spy, the
She's more of a joke character.
you know what happened to Lemillion? I feel like that would happen to her, and it would just reveal her as like a new character. Like, oh, I've always been here, but no, you've been invisible this entire time. Now that your quirk's gone,
Hmm.
she'll just reveal her face. Obviously,
And it'll be Deku's mom.
Deku's mom. It's all naked.
She just was there trying to keep a tabs on her son. Yeah.
But so you never really said who your favorite person was.
Man, like I said, it's hard to decide. That Hawk guy or whatever.
Hawks.
Yeah.
Hawk is
It
pretty
might
good.
be him. But
Hawks is
like I
good.
said, I also, when Todoroki's on screen, I'm all about it. When Lemillion's on screen, I'm all about it.
My favorite, I want to say, like, since Junkie already stole Eraserhead from me.
Eraserhead's great too,
That's
though.
crazy.
Yeah.
Eraserhead's like one of my favorites.
He's
Like
so good.
he's so cool. Like the rap, so everything about his powers is so dope. Like his mummy rap, where it just like automatically just wraps people, and then
Yeah.
he'll just stare into your eyes like Medusa. It's so dope. But my second favorite is Lemillion. I hate his face with a passion. He is the most weirdest person in
Yeah,
the
the
entire...
character design on that is very strange.
is very strange, but it grows on you. At first, I was like you know, whenever you first see him, his face like goes through like the wall as Deck is like throwing out the trash.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey kids, want to see a dead body?" It's just like
basically like, "Hey, you want some candy?" You know? So that's how he introduces himself. But Lemillion's quirk is by far like the most complicated, and as he said, the most dangerous one to use. He was like, just imagine like going underground and not having any senses whatsoever. Like none of your
you
senses.
can't see, you can't hear.
Can't smell, you can't feel. So I'm like, how on earth are you like maneuvering down there? So like, oh yeah, it takes like years of practice. I don't care. Like there's no navigation when you're down there. You just gotta remember where you're at, go down, and you just gotta like, I don't know, like I guess it's just timing. He times his speed, and that's when he like jumps back up.
Yeah, from what I remember, he got like a picture of where people are, and he has good spatial awareness. So even if he closes his eyes completely, he basically knows where everybody's at.
That's cool. I like him as a character, and I hope that he comes back fully with his quirks.
You know who's also become a character that I really like?
Who?
Endeavor, actually.
Endeavor.
Like he's grown as a character. He
So,
starts off as just like
was I talking to you about this with Victor and Andres and Nate as well? But
I think I was left out of that particular conversation.
so like they were saying, I was saying like, oh yeah, what happened to what happens to Endeavor now? Like, and they were like, oh yeah, he has an eye patch. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, dude, it was in the
they're
show.
reading the manga.
No, they actually told me it was in the end credits, and I'm like,
Oh.
I don't remember this man having an eye patch, or like I just remember him getting stabbed in the eyeball, raising his hand, and everyone just started cheering for him. That was the last bit that I saw.
Right.
So, I mean, Endeavor has healing potentials, doesn't he? Since like he has basically all fire.
I'm not sure. That doesn't necessarily give you healing factors.
I mean, I would
Because
assume that it would heal
Todoroki
his...
hasn't shown any healing factor, has he?
I mean, he's like a half blood. Half blood.
Yeah. Dude, Todoroki's just gonna be.
Todoroki's
He has the capability of being stupidly overpowered.
he's already overpowered.
He really is, though. Actually,
Like with his little ice, like he just makes those things so fast. But there's this one part where like he merged the fire and the ice together. Or was it just all fire? What part was that?
Talking about in the fight with Deku, or
No, it was in the it was like in the last bit. What am I thinking about?
I have no idea.
I just remember the part with Deku. Well, he said Deku's part.
Was it Deku whenever he just? No, there was this one part in the show where he focused more on fire. I think he didn't want to use fire because he hated his dad.
Yeah.
Remember? So there was this one part where he focused more on his fire abilities.
Yeah.
I don't remember this part.
But
I faintly remember it. But
I remember
just,
he trained about it, but I don't remember him using like if you were talking about an actual fight. I don't remember him using it in an actual fight though.
Yeah.
The only time I remember him using it in an actual fight was against Deku because Deku was like, "You shouldn't be scared of who you are. You're not him. You're your own person." And then he was like, "You're right," or whatever. No, he didn't say you're right, but that's what he's
you're
like.
right. Now I'll burn you to a
point
crisp.
of where he got built up, where he did it.
Yeah, Deku's like, stop being a little bitch. Fight me like a man. And he's like, I am still a boy, but you.
So you don't read the mangas for My Hero?
No. Just One Punch Man for now.
I don't even want to read any mangas because I don't want to spoil anything for me. Like when I started with anime, watching it, I want to like just keep watching it. So with Naruto, it was like a weird thing for me. I started with dubbed. I know everyone starts telling me like, "Oh, you monster! Why are you watching dubbed?"
I don't know. For the original series, I thought the dub was pretty good. Shippuden felt weird to me, but
yeah,
I thought the dub I know it's like, oh, believe it. It's so stupid.
I mean,
I still thought it was pretty
like,
fun, at least.
Yeah. For me, like, there are huge quirks for that show being dubbed. One being is Rock Lee and Guy Sensei. They are more funny on dub than they are in subbed. Like I would read what they're saying, but that's pretty much it. On dub they have their facial reactions and then their voices just matching it. It's just way better. Like imagine watching the shonen exams, which we have not reached to yet.
The tuning exams?
Chunin. What did I say? Chunin exams, basically. That one iconic part with Gaara versus Rock Lee.
Oh man,
so good.
It's one of the greatest fights in all of anime history, like straight up.
Really, really good. And you need to wait, but you're close to it. I think we just finished the Zabuza series. I think that's next.
Probably, yeah. The tuning exams would be.
Tuning exams are next, and it's so good. There's a lot of fight scenes in Naruto that's really good.
Yeah, and there are a few that are kind of trash, but there are a lot that are really, really good.
What are the trash ones? I'm curious.
Well, so I gotta say that Neji versus Naruto I didn't like.
Really?
Yeah.
Tuning?
Yeah, it was tuning exams. Yeah, I thought that was kind of dumb.
I mean,
because he's like, oh, you can't fight Destiny, and Naruto's like, yes, I can. It's like, but you're not actually. You have this ridiculous ability called the Nine Tails inside of you that gives you extra, like it's not. You're being hypocritical. Like it's not like you're fighting against fate. You have fate on your side. You're Naruto. You're the main character. You have the Nine Tails.
You are the main character. Just go with it.
Yeah, you have the Nine Tails inside you that can, even though he shuts off all your chakra points, you can just be like, hey, I have all this chakra now.
Oh yeah, you shut off my chakra points, but how about his chakra points?
Yeah, it's just.
It's just.
I thought that particular fight, of course, Neji deserved. Well, he didn't really catch an ass beating that time, but he deserved one.
Trust me,
he's
Neji,
so bad. All that Naruto did is one uppercut, and he's insta KO'd. I didn't really like that either. I don't know.
They how they played Neji in the entire series up until the end. I'm not a fan of at all.
Yeah.
Neji was one of my favorites when I was a kid. Like seeing Neji,
they did not treat him well.
No, they did not. Like
no character development.
The
hardly.
Byakugan and like everything that he does is like so cool. Like he sees all your pressure points. This man will fight you with his fingertips, and he would just poke you all around your body, and you would just be disabled. Like that is so dope. Like the One of my favorite jutsus. Is that a jutsu?
Technique.
Or technique? I guess. Yeah, it's one of my favorite techniques in the Naruto series was the Hyuga family.
Yeah, they're I forget what it's even called now.
The Byakugan?
Gentle fist.
Oh yeah, the gentle fist.
Bam.
Martial arts.
So with another bad fight in the Chunin exams. Can you guess what I'm gonna say?
Sakura and Ino.
Yes. What
Whatever.
a trash fight that
That was the worst fight.
the only
ever.
people either of them would have had any chance against is each other.
They are the weakest bunch.
Have either of them fight anybody else and they get just immediately wrecked.
Like out of like, I'm not being like sexist in any way, but I think the only actually there's two of them. There's two ladies because both of them are just like they're like heartthrobs. They're like just suckers for Sasuke, or basically.
Yeah, basically.
So like they don't fight as much. I mean like not until you reach to the like the late parts of Shippuden.
Yeah.
Where they actually start, you know, being
not completely useless.
yeah, like contributing something.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant to say. But early on, I think Tenten is super weak, but
She's the worst. She's the worst ever. She's the worst character. I don't even care. You can hate Sakura, and I don't like Sakura either. Tenten's the worst character, truly.
So basically, Tenten's because they all have their own special techniques. Tenten whips out a scroll.
Yes, that's
basically that summons all of the weapons, and she spins them around.
Spins the scroll around and it throws
and then
weapons
like just like all random weapons just like starts flying off.
She can open scrolls really good.
Oh yeah. And then every time she doesn't beat someone or kill someone, she goes, "How? My special move."
Yeah, I'm a weapons specialist.
Yeah, I'm a weapons specialist. I have all the scrolls for it.
You're a scroll opening specialist, all right? Let's be clear about that.
It's literally like opening an ammunition box and just dropping it on someone's head.
Yeah.
Is her
Dude, that's pretty
is
effective.
her technique.
Yeah.
So I think the only I'm like pretty confident when I say the only in their level, the only female the strongest female ninja on their level is Tamari.
Yeah.
I think Tamari is the only one.
Tamari was pretty strong.
Oh yeah, like at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Also, her jutsu is just like way too OP. If a wind can just slice you, it's over.
It's pretty nice. I will say though that Kishimoto, that's his name, right? The author.
I have no idea who the author is.
Has a real problem with knowing how to write women characters. Like he's just terrible at it. He has basically no strong female characters. Strong as in well built as a character, right? There are some that are overpowered, like Kaguya, obviously overpowered. The Mizukage is pretty strong, right? Tsunade, when she gets her full 100 healing or 1,000, whatever, how many healings she's got, she's stupid powerful too, right? Sakura, when she's being controlled by Granny Chiyo, is pretty strong.
Oh my!
But as characters, they're all terrible. Tsunade is a terrible person. Not a great choice for Hokage, and screw her. Actually, just get her out of the way completely. Okay, with one exception, Granny Chiyo is pretty cool. Okay, Granny Chiyo is pretty cool, but everybody else is just terrible.
Granny Chiyo is a puppet master. Really dope.
Yeah.
Like just controls all sorts of puppets. Like
she doesn't really get a lot of screen time though, so she's not even really able to be built up as much of a character. But like Sakura is not very likable. Ino's hardly there and not very likable when she's there. Tamari doesn't get a lot of screen time. She'd probably be a cool character, but she doesn't get a lot of screen time.
They could have made her into a cool character if she actually used her weapons like how they're meant to be used and not just like flung around.
Yeah.
Like poo.
Yeah.
Basically, like she's like the weakest character on there.
Yeah, Tenten's terrible. there's a couple that are more like caricatures than characters.
Yeah, like
the
now that we're
Tsunade,
talking about it,
the Tsuchikage is just she's a caricature.
now that we're talking about it, I feel like Naruto, like they don't really. It's all like a male.
That's what I'm saying. The guy does not know how to write female characters.
That's crazy. I just realized
Just like
that.
that, Naruto got canceled.
No,
Well,
like
it's just like
it's wild.
It's a writing issue, right?
Yeah.
If the guy does not know how to write female characters,
Either they're like support
Hopefully he's learned
characters,
since.
but they don't have like any. There's no female like there's no main roles for like female characters in that show. Like even if you go to the what's it called Akatsuki, Conan
right? Yeah,
Conan?
Conan, yeah.
like she's really strong, but also again support character. She doesn't really do anything. All she does
She's
is like
just like a person carrying the torch for Nagato, basically, or and Yahiko.
basically she's like
Carrying
on the
torch.
side.
Carrying the torch might not be the right phrase, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So she like all throughout the series she was just on the sidelines.
A sad character.
Again,
Yes.
like her jutsu is really good.
Yeah.
Like really cool too, like really cool looking, but she never had like screen time. Not counting the flashbacks
Right.
because that's not screen time like. But she didn't have any screen times on her.
A lot of the flashbacks are anime only, I think, too. So yeah, flashbacks don't count.
Definitely.
Because you have in the anime, you have literally flashbacks within flashbacks.
Exactly.
Inception levels.
Only
of
Naruto
flashbacks.
can do this.
No, Naruto even can't. It's terrible. Nobody likes that.
I've seen
It's
it.
stupid.
I've seen it even happen in that.
Yes, it has flashbacks within flashbacks. That is not cool. It's stupid. Nobody liked it. It's dumb. I hated it.
So normally we will like carry out the podcast around like two hours or something like that, but we don't like really go past it for obvious reasons. Well, mainly like I'd rather like edit a shorter podcast versus editing like a 5-hour podcast. That'd be a pain in the butt. Like I'll just be sitting here the whole day. But anyways, let's talk about one last anime before we go. And what do you think about Mob Psycho compared to all of it?
Really good.
It's got
I recently watched it.
Yeah,
Very recently watched it. And I just binged it, basically.
that's basically what we did.
Yeah.
I passed
and-
out, but I managed to like finish the whole thing.
Yeah.
But at first I passed out.
It's got a killer theme song. I mean, like the opening
The
song.
opening song
just-
is really catchy. I'm like at
I don't
first
know what it's about.
at
It's
first whenever I first heard the theme song from Mob Psycho, I'm like, what is this? What is happening? And like it just keeps going faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
They're like saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like it just keeps going up until like 100
Right.
99 actually.
or well 99, but it goes to 100.
I
But
still
she doesn't say it.
the mentor character, the non-mentor mentor,
I
still annoys me. I've seen it, right? You see how he sometimes cares about Mob. I just don't like that guy.
I can't read the
not.
man. Like I can't tell if he's doing this for himself or if he actually cares for Mob.
Did
but
you not see this? Did you see season 2 already?
No.
not yet.
Oh, okay, I have.
See, we have.
Okay.
We didn't know season 2 existed.
You don't know? Let me plug.
until today.
Let me plug a particular app called Verve. VRV. Go on it. The discount code. There's no discount code. Sorry, guys. Verve will not sponsor me. They don't know who I am. VRV. If you go on it, you can watch. You won't see this, but I watched Mob Psycho on it, and I've seen Attack on Titan. So here we go, Mob Psycho.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did not know season 2
You
existed
can watch
till
some
today.
things on Verve for free, and some of it you'd have to pay for the paid version of it.
So why do you not like the mentor? I feel like he's.
He's a bad person.
It's season 2.
I mean, it's
bro.
not that, but like, I think he's he cracks me up.
He is funny.
Yeah, like
But
one
see-
of his special moves where he punches someone in the face
With table
really
saw.
hard
Yeah.
with a salt or something like that. It was,
Yeah, no. There's a lot of funny things about him. The humor behind what he does is great, right? Still ticks me off when he acts like a little. I don't know if I can say it on the podcast, but
Well, are you talking about how he was holding
Immature,
Mob back?
yeah, he's holding him back. He's immature, selfish, dishonest. He's not a good person.
He's a good masseuse.
Yeah, Masoor, I think is the name.
Masoor.
Yeah.
I see. I didn't know there were like two definitions. I don't know. I'm not.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a
Anyways,
massage enthusiast.
he apparently is very good at that, but he's not a very good person.
I mean, like at the end of season 1, he unlocked his what do they call it? Psychic powers, because he can finally see the ghost.
That's all he can do, though.
Really
Yeah,
nice. That's funny. I like that.
like he's like, "What? I can do this now?" Yeah, but his powers are.
Like watching season 1, I wish Mob did. Like, I mean, Mob is an innocent little kid until he, just like real life.
Breaking point.
Like everyone else, everyone has their breaking points. His breaking point is that he becomes a god, like literally, like just obliterates you.
Yeah,
So which is
that fight
cool.
against that blonde kid in the season.
Oh
one
my
was
gosh,
so
like
good.
that was something else. I was just my eyes were glued on the TV
That was a
whenever
good
that was
fight, too.
happening. Yeah, he was knocked out. I didn't even remember what happened because he was just like unconscious.
Dude, I thought it was funny when the blonde kid shows back up with his hair though.
With the fake hair, with
Yeah.
the wig. That's so. It reminded me of One Punch Man, where Saitama wore the wig to
Oh,
enter the
yeah.
martial
Oh,
arts.
sure,
tournament.
the
Yeah,
martial
he
arts.
had to catch it real quick.
Yeah.
So here's my question: since like they were made, they were both made by the
Written
same people.
guy, yeah.
Is that how do I say this? Like the world of Mob Psycho and One Punch like connected at all, or is there like any way for them to connect the two? They're like they have the same drawing style, or well, the faces at least. But I feel like they have like a potential that they can merge together.
If potentially if One Punch Man is maybe far in the future, but I don't think it could exist in the same timeline, like or in the same time, maybe in the same timeline, but One Punch Man would be further in the future because the technology is a lot further along back then, like at that point. But also monsters are so. I don't know how.
Oh
much
yeah, you
of
know what? You're right. Like it's more common.
Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
monsters. To the fact that I don't know how much lore you know about One Punch Man, but apparently in One Punch Man, there's like one continent where people can live. Everywhere else was completely taken over by monsters.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so like monsters have taken over a significant portion of the world already in that world. So if it happens far in the future, then potentially they could connect. But I don't think that's its plan though.
Yeah, I also feel like, I don't know. I feel like, I feel like the power, like this show or Mob Psycho is more with the spiritual stuff as well. More psychic abilities. Not saying that's impossible, One Punch Man, but I feel like One Punch Man is just a different type of.
Different type of psychic
Yeah,
because they're not dealing with like dead people,
yeah,
spirits, and
they're
stuff like demons.
They are making the dead people.
They're making the dead people, yeah. Like Tatsumaki, sheesh. Even
Yeah,
Blizzard
I
is-
can't wait for the next season for One Punch. Like I have rewatched One Punch Man so many times. Whenever I show this man One Punch Man, that was like my probably fifth time watching it. All
Yeah.
throughout like season 1, all the way to like season.
What do you think of Puri Puri Prisoner?
Puri Puri Prisoner is
Interesting character.
an interesting character. I think he's like really, really good, but not as good as
He's the weakest S-class hero,
he is. But like
but he's still an S-class hero.
he is he didn't get beat up though. Like the metal bat,
Right.
he got beat to up. Well, to be fair, like he was already beaten up, but that's his thing. Like that's
When he was going against Sentichoro.
yeah, Sinister, and then like he fought what's his name? Martial artist guy.
Oh, Garo.
Garo.
Yeah.
His thing was supposed to be the more he gets injured, the more he gets stronger.
Yes, he was about to kill Garo until his sister showed up.
Yeah. But like,
Who is the worst? She should die immediately. I'm sorry, Metal Bat. You're better without her.
but you can see that his powers only can go for like so long until he just like drops dead.
Right.
I feel like his powers is adrenaline. That's it. Once the adrenaline like simmers down, he's gone. He's dead. Well,
Yeah.
like he's not dead, but he's knocked out.
Well, but in a fantasy setting like this, it can be like a sort of magic. Like you have your warrior spirit, and it gets stronger the more that you face a stronger opponent. You just get stronger, just because, basically, right?
I mean, it just all depends on the
But
rider. You know?
let me be clear though. If in my opinion, if Prairie Prisoner had met Centichoro instead of Metal Bat meeting, I think he would be dead. Or even Garo. He probably not be dead because Garo just doesn't generally kill people. He just like beats them up really badly, and then he's like, "I took them out," but they're still
Centichoro
alive.
might have killed Prairie Prisoner. One of the most OP heroes as well is the dog,
Watchdog Man.
Watchdog Man.
Oh, what a great character! I love that, but he doesn't get very much screen time. I need him to have more screen time.
Oh, he got screen time. He almost whooped Garo's behind
He did
at that one
he
point.
did.
Yeah, like
He's
that.
so
No,
fast.
Garo
Oh.
literally ran away from him because he was getting beat up so bad, to the point where the only reason he escaped is because Watchdog Man has like a territory, and so if you leave his territory, he doesn't care about you anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that part either. I thought he just got away.
He's very territorial, so if you come into his territory and make trouble, he will come and beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
If you leave though, if you're outside of his territory, then he's like, all right, I guess I chased him away.
That's very limited for a hero, but he's still pretty.
But his
cool.
territory is an entire goddamn city, though.
that is true. One of my One Punch Man. One of my favorites is, well, obviously Saitama is.
Saitama's
What?
great.
I think One
Yeah.
Punch Man is the only show that I actually like. Really like the main guy.
Really?
Like Naruto. I don't like Naruto that much. Like compared to like everyone else, I'm like,
yeah.
you're okay. Yeah, like you're there to like carry out the story, carry
Yeah.
out the emotions, the funny moments, and all that. My Hero,
Believe
Deku's
it.
there. Like I like Deku, but not
To the same level.
to the same level as
Yeah.
Eraserhead or Lemillion.
Yep.
And it's only in One Punch Man where I look at Saitama and I'm like,
Like, this guy is my guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
my guy. Like I'm over here watching all these dudes get beat up, and I'm like, just wait for him, and then you see him with what's his name on a bike. It's like,
yeah.
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, what's that guy's
You're
name?
talking about Moomin Rider?
Moomin Rider.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, where is Saitama? And then you do like the screen cuts, and you just see Moomin Rider and Saitama like riding on his bike. You run faster than that.
I
Just
know,
run.
right? The guy runs like 10 times the speed of sound. Like, come on, man. Yeah.
So like he is by far like one of my favorites.
Yeah. There's a couple anime where I think the main characters are really awesome as characters, but not a lot.
I feel like Genos keeps getting beat up a lot.
Yeah.
Like there's multiple times where he should have died, but did not.
That's like his thing, right? He always will face the villain with passion and
Yeah, he's-
courage,
he's
and
your-
he'll always face a villain that's a little too strong for
He's
him.
like the stereotype for anime characters. Like to me, like I feel like he's just the stereotypical, and he's supposed to be. Like I feel like that's how he's he's
That's how
supposed to be.
that all of One Punch Man is
because
kinda
it's like a
that.
parody, you know. It's like so it's like
Well, One Punch Man is kind of like a parody of all the tropes.
Oh,
in
yeah.
in a sense. But at the same time, it surprisingly has a lot of heart in it. Because Genos, he is a sort of a caricature in that sense, right?
Yeah.
But he also, like, you could sense like this guy has been through some tough things, and he wants to get revenge. He
Yeah.
also thinks about other people and what they're going through. Like you see King, who's like feels guilty about people thinking that he's super strong. and you think, yeah, I see other people, and there's a lot of heart in it, even though it's kind of a joke anime in a sense.
Yeah.
Everyone calls it a joke anime, but it's one of my favorite animes.
It's great. It's fantastic. I love it.
It really is. It's that
I'm gonna start spoiling the manga for you.
my hair. Don't, please don't.
I won't do that.
I don't. I don't read the manga. So like all the manga readers that have like all these knowledge for like the new stuff. But yeah, One Punch is definitely my favorite. My Hero is my second. Naruto's fourth now because Mob Psycho just took Naruto's place.
Mob Psycho is better than Naruto as a show, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
As a story.
But like Naruto just has like I've watched Naruto for like a year and a half straight, just to finish it. Just like all the weekends combined, you're just watching 5 to 10 episodes of Naruto in the span of a year. And as soon as I finished it, I actually felt sad.
Right.
The last part where so and so got married and then what's his name didn't even show up, but he did send a letter through a bird or something. Congratulations on your marriage.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and then he just walks away. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but that's the ending.
Yeah.
Someone got married.
Someone was like, "Screw you guys."
Yeah, someone was like, "Yeah, peace out."
Yeah, I'm happy for you, but not that happy.
And then they all had kids, and that's how Boruto was made. A disappointment.
Yeah. So, how do we normally wrap?
So normally,
Okay.
like that's normally like I was about to like go to that wrapping up part. So that was the Off the Grid podcast. My energy has dropped significantly. I mean, it has been dropping because I had zero sleep. But that was the podcast. Is there anything else y'all want to say before we end?
I really enjoyed being on.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, we
Oh, yeah, for
enjoyed
sure.
you being on and being patient with us because of the mic. We did not expect that
It's all
issue.
good.
Let me fix this mic problem and mic issues, and maybe next time
Sure.
you could come by again, and we could talk about some other stuff again.
Sounds good.
Whenever you're free, like
Yeah, yeah.
are you always free on like Tuesday mornings?
just to not have sleep on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
I mean, we can do this again next Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. We will. Let's plan on it so far, and then see how it goes. Roll with it.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I am your host, Daco B. With me is Left for Junkie and our guest, Danny. We were out. This has been Off the Grid. Check out our store. We have merch. We have like shirts, tank tops, t-shirt, stickers. What else do we have?
Pressure him into watching Demon Slayer. Hello. Yes.
Yes, I will watch Demon Slayer eventually, but y'all have all right, before we end real quick, Victor Andres and yourself, y'all have convinced me to watch Demon Slayer now because y'all are literally like willing to like call it it's like as I'm listening to you guys, it's like its own event
Right.
because Demon Slayer the movie is coming out.
Yeah.
And everyone's like so hyped for it. Andres was willing to like call out. Victor told me that he was willing to call out
Yeah.
to watch said movie.
Literally just like, sorry guys, I'm just not coming in today.
Just for Demon Slayer. So we might have to start on that soon.
Yeah.
But that's soon. Anyway, so that was the podcast. My brain's just dead. Peace out. Hit.